In the previous sessions, we have looked at how to create different basic charts and graphs in Tableau. In this session, we're going to look at a more advanced chart, which is the Gantt chart, and let's see how we can create a Gantt chart in Tableau. So Gantt charts are used to visualize the timeline for your projects. So our task for this Gantt chart is that we're going to visualize the timeline for our avocado sales. Traditionally, a lot of people will be using other softwares, other project management software such as Microsoft Project to create a Gantt chart. It is very easy and straightforward to create Gantt charts in those softwares, and I would recommend you to do that if you're just trying to create a Gantt chart for your project. If you're trying to create a Gantt chart together with other charts and graphs, then Tableau is a very good option because it allows you to create all these different charts in the same space. So now let's take a look at how to create a Gantt chart in Tableau. So let's first create a new sheet and rename it as Gantt chart. And now we will be connecting to our data for this Gantt chart. So let's connect to Microsoft Excel, and then we'll be opening up the Excel file. We'll be using the task sheet in this Excel file to create our Gantt chart. So in this task worksheet, we have 4 columns that we'll be using for our Gantt chart. The task, the start and end date of each task, and also the status of each task. In order to create this Gantt chart, we need to decide what we are going to use as the row and what we are going to use as the column. The task will be the rows, so that each task will be presented in a bar. And then our row and our columns will be the start date. In here, we will need to change the type of the date in here. So we are going to change it from year to day, which includes the month, the date, and also the year. So now we have a very basic draft for our Gantt chart. So the next step we will need to do is we need to include the information of the duration in our Gantt chart. Right now we don't have a duration in here. We can actually create a new measure for duration and calculate that. So we can right click on the blank space and choose Create Calculated field. And let's name the Calculate field as duration. And the equation will be the end date minus your start date. And then we can click OK. So now we have created a new measure which can be used as the size for our Gantt chart. So let's drag the duration to the size. And now you see that we have created we have added the duration as the bar size for each of the tasks. We can also add the status as colors for our tasks, so we can distinguish which tasks has been completed and which ones are incomplete. So let's drag the status to the colors and color the tasks based on their status. Now, one thing you might realize is that right now this tasks are not listed in the correct sequence. So the first one should be product selection, and the last one is going to be product unpacking. So we can actually fix this. We can right click on the task and choose sort. We're going to sort our tasks based on their start date so that they will be in the correct time sequence. So we'll click sort by field, and we can use the start as our field name, and the aggregation function we are going to choose the minimum. So now after we do this correction and sort them based on the correct order, the Gantt chart has been created correctly. So you can actually try to play with the different choices in here for the different sort and see how that affects the creation of your Gantt chart. Now we have completed the creation of the Gantt chart. If you want to add more information into this Gantt chart, we can actually do that. For example, if you want to try to add a reference date and see where we are in this project right now, we can actually add a reference line to show us where we are right now. So in order to find today's date, we will need to first create a new calculation as well. So we can right click on this marks field and then click new calculation. So in this new calculation, we will be adding today's date. So we'll type today and then a parenthesis. So this will tell us today's date. So we'll change today's date from the exact date to day, month. We'll choose this one. And then we can right click on the day of start, which is on the x-axis. So we can right click here and then choose add reference line. And then what we can do is that we can choose the line value. So for the line value, we can choose day to day. And then for the label, we can use the value of the day of today. And then we can click OK. So once we do that, we'll be able to see where we are regarding this project as of today. So now you may realize that the Gantt chart is actually plotted in the top part of your whole field. If you want to make the Gantt chart a little bit bigger, you can actually change the view again. So you can change it from standard to maybe entire view. So this will make your Gantt chart a little bit larger if that's what you want. So now a question for you to think about is, would you use Tableau or would you use another project management tool to create your Gantt chart, and why?